We've got 2 tournaments to recap today. The Frankfurt Regional Championships over in Germany, and then the Regional Championships in Monterrey in Mexico. And I guess there's 2 ways we can do this. We can look at each tournament individually, or we can like look at the, I want to like go to the, look at the metagame percentages of stuff first. We could do the metagame percentages of stuff, both things first, or we just go one tournament at a time maybe. And let's start with Frankfurt, I guess. Why not? Sure. So we'll start with the metagame, then we'll take a look at the top 32 decks, and we'll do the same thing for the other tournament. So day 1 meta. Dude, how is Raging Ball still being played at 20%? I'm actually curious to see what the highest placing Raging Ball player was. Not to hate on them specifically, but just kind of hate on Raging Bolt as a deck. All right. So Poltnor was 15% of the meta. Raging Bolt was second at 12. This is day 1, right? Let's switch to day 2. We don't really care about day 2 percentage. That doesn't really matter. The conversion percentage is the interesting percentage, but we'll start with the day 1 percentage. Dragon Bolt Dustnor, 14.4. Raging Bolt was 12. Golden Go was 11. Guardy 10, basically. Charizard 7. And then Golden Go Joltik. This question came up a lot during the stream. Was like, oh, Azul, what do you think about the fall off of Golden Go? It was 22% at Worlds, and now it's like, 12% here at Frankfurt. A lot of Golden Go players shifted to Golden Go Joltik, basically, and a lot of good players stopped playing. Like, there was a lot of good players who played Golden Go at Worlds, but my guess would be at both of these regional championships, a lot of the players of that caliber that played Golden Go at Worlds did not play Golden Go at either of these regional championships. Is another reason for Golden Go's drop off in percentage. One is a lot of them just shifted over to Golden Go Joltik Box, or Joltik Box Golden Go, Joltik Golden Go, Jolten Go, Jolten Go, whatever you want to call it. And the other is like tier 1 players, tier S players. I think some of them did play Golden Go at Worlds. I think a lot of them did not play it at these tournaments, though. There was definitely a shift around that, I feel like, as well. So these 2 percentages are basically, like, I wouldn't call this 18%, but yeah, basically the 22% of players that played Golden Go at Worlds, this percentage is some of that player base. Like, that is like, so it's not really, it didn't really go from 22% to like 12%. Like, we know where they went. They just went to go play a different style of Golden Go deck, if you want to call it that. So it's not like as shocking as it might seem, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It didn't have as big of a fall off as you maybe think it does. Terra Box here at 3%. Grimmsnarl down to 3%. Bro, Grimmsnarl's fall from grace. I don't know. Grimmsnarl does not seem like a very graceful Pokemon, but it definitely fell. 4% for Grim, 4% for Terra Box, 3.5 for Joltik Box. Flareon also at 3, Straight Pult at 3, Ethan Typhlosion 2%. Okay, actually that's better than I thought it would be, to be honest. Pulsard also 2%. I actually am curious about some of these lower percentage, like Enzorark I thought would maybe be a little bit more popular, down there at 1.4%. Dude, it's outdone by Armarouge Box? What the fuck is this? There's more people playing Ho-Oh Armarouge than Enzorark? What? What are we doing, man? This can't be real. No way. Dude, the Armor Army propaganda is actually just insane. All right. And then we get down here. It doesn't really matter too much. We're getting to the less than 1% decks. So nothing too crazy to look at down here. But then the interesting number after that would be the conversion percentage. What, am I doing this correctly? We put this... Oh, yeah, this is always hard to look at. How do I want to do this? Day 1 conversion. How should I order this? Day 2 decks? Day 1 decks? We order it like this, right? The highest number of day 2 decks. Yeah, the conversion, because I don't want to do conversion percentage, because I don't care that Charizard Pult had 100% conversion rate. Day 1 decks. Day 2 decks. Let's do day 2 decks. Let's do it. Click day 2. Yeah, let's go with day 2. Click day 2? Or I mean if I click day 2. No, but I want to see the conversion. I want to see the conversion percentage, because that's the interesting number. The day 2 meta percentage number is interesting. Is an interesting number to look at when you don't have this number. But when you have this number, it basically invalidates the day 2 percentage number. Variant grouping off. I'm actually curious, how does Robin variant grouping on? So Golden goes 18%. That would include, but all the Pults would outplace it. We'll sort by day 2? Yeah, we'll sort by day 2. Okay, so Poltnor was the most popular deck in day 2. Had an 18% conversion rate. Raging Bolt, second most popular, 70% conversion rate. Golden Go, didn't have a terrible conversion rate. I think when we looked at this last year, when we were looking at these numbers last year, I think the average was like 16, 17 was like the average conversion rate, I think, I want to say. So Golden Go a little bit below average, Guardia about average, but then Terabox, 41% convert. This is insane, especially for how popular of a deck it is. Sometimes you see a number like this, but it's usually there's like 6 people playing the deck in the tournament, and you're like, oh, okay, who cares? But almost 100 players playing this, 41% conversion rate is kind of crazy. Like, that's kind of insane. For sure. Conversion rate equals made day 2. Conversion rate is saying 41% of players made it from phase 1 to phase 2 playing the deck. So 41% of Terabox players made phase 2. So almost half of the Terabox players advanced from phase 1 to phase 2. Golden Go Joltik box here, a pretty high conversion rate as well. Not 41% high, but on the higher end, 21%. Charizard Pidgeot only at 12. Ooh, chill. Expected. Joltik box here, 24% conversion rate, also on the high end. But now we're starting to get down to like, well, this is still a pretty decent amount of players playing the deck in the tournament, right? Flareon box here, 22%. Crustle, 28% conversion rate. Was one of the phase 2 games played in day 1? It was, yes. It was played in day 1. Crustle, 28%. This is one of those decks, though, where like I'm not surprised that Crustle has a high conversion rate, but I still don't think Crustle's like a deck to win a tournament. Like I don't think Crustle's ever winning a tournament, though. So yeah. And then we get down to here, like sub 50 decks at this point seems. Well, I guess Grimmsnarl did not have. Oh my gosh. Oh. Grimmsnarl did not have a good time. 9% conversion rate, despite almost 100 people playing the deck. That's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Pult Zard, bad conversion rate. Wait, what's the difference between Pult Zard and Zard Pult? Wasn't one of these 100% conversion? Am I trolling? Yeah, right here. Charizard Dragapult. Dragapult Charizard. Wait, what the fuck? What is the difference? Let's investigate further. Is it like a thin? Oh, it's like a thicker Charizard line style of deck. Okay. It's like the 3/3 of each. Okay. This is like the list that like did well at one of the Champions Leagues. Whereas Dragapult Charizard is like the 4/4 Dragapult line with oh, this one has 3 Charmander, but usually it's like 2 Charmander. Okay. I was like, what is this flip around here? I feel like it should be those should probably be combined, but yeah, same difference. But yeah, the big standout here, of course, is that got to be the Terabox there, the 41% conversion rate. Like I said, Crustle has a high conversion rate as well, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not surprised Crustle has a high conversion rate, but like the chance that Crustle wins a tournament is like still really low. It doesn't matter what the conversion rate really is for Crustle. The deck's probably always getting farmed in phase 2, to be honest. Yeah, let's take a look at some of the decks now. We're starting off with the winning deck, the deck that won both tournaments over the weekend. The Henry Chow updated Guardy 60. Insane. Clearly moving a Loke and adding a Zard improves the deck around 100 times. Yeah, apparently. The deck becomes 100 or 10 times, not 100 times. The deck becomes 10 times better. Yeah. Henry Chow was given full credit for the list that Rune used to win the tournament here. And the big standouts here, I think the big standouts here are the lack of Drifloon despite playing 3 Bravery Charm. Heavy Bravery Charm count isn't something new to guard for. And then, but I mentioned this earlier, it's not so much about, it's just about playing the right stuff at the right time. But the big standout for sure, as far as like innovation goes, like what was the next big thing that Henry Chow added to guard for? It's definitely the 4 Earthen Vessel and the 8 basic Psychic Energy is like the big standout here. Just more energy, more aggressive ways to find your energy, more ways to discard your energy, leading to just getting more psychic energy in the discard pile, finding our dark energy. I guess not really more often than previous builds of Gardevoir we've seen in the past, because previous builds of Gardevoir we've seen in the past have played like 4 basic dark energy, right? So it's like you're not finding your dark energy at like a higher rate per se, but I guess you could like search out double dark at some point and go like back-to-back attaches. That could be kind of cool. But it really is about just cycling your deck more aggressively, right? Just cycling your deck as aggressively as possible. 2 Nest, no Poffin. That's not new either. We've seen that quite a bit. I think Riley has always played the Poffin. I think even played the Poffin at Worlds, I want to say, but no Poffin isn't like a new thing. We've seen that quite a bit. Yeah, not too much to say there besides that. Cool innovation with the extra energy, cycling the energy through your deck, but nothing too crazy. And then we get down to definitely a more crazy deck here, piloted by Tord, which is the Pult Nor. But it's not just Pult Nor. It is Pult Nor with 4 rare candy. So Tord, I think Tord historically has been a bigger fan, or just enjoyed playing it more. The straight Pult build of Dragapult. You know, innovating tournament to tournament. Played it at NAIC, played it at Worlds. Has given up on it though in Frankfurt here, and has switched over to Pult Nor. But he didn't just switch over to Pult Nor. He did, you know, do something different, which is 4 rare candy, and also playing Hilda and Brock. A heavy count of Hilda and Brox. So I feel like rare candy obviously is not great in the Dragapult mirror, because you're both just going to sit there and Badoo each other until someone sets up a Dragapult, so you're not going to put the candy in Dragapult because you're getting Badooed. But still plays a pretty heavy count of the supporter-based search. So I feel like the mirror match is still probably like fine with this build, despite playing 4 effectively dead cards in the matchup. Like, rare candies are mostly dead, I would assume, in the matchup. In the mirror match, they're not going to come up very often, if ever. Also, Tord has no Monkey Dory, which I feel like is also a little bit of a hit in the mirror match as well. Does it matter enough to the point where he wishes he played it? I don't know, but... or you'd want it for the mirror. And then the other big thing is like the energy count. Down to 6 energy in the deck. I feel like we've been seeing recently Dragapult builds up to like... Dragapult decks build up to higher and higher counts of energy. Like right now, some straight Pult builds are playing like... I want to say 9 energy, 8 to 9. Other builds of Pult Nor were playing 7 as well. 7 energies. And now Tord's going down to 6. Now he does have like... the build's like a little bit more aggressive, I guess. Like you have the 2 Hilda... Most people, a lot of people play 2 Hilda though, so you have the out to the Neo Upper just as anyone else, but you can like be more aggressive with it, I guess. Is you can, you know, Hilda for Dragapult plus Neo Upper, and if you have a candy in your hand, you go candy, Dragapult, and you start swinging. 7 and 4 stretchers. That's another thing to point out as well, compared to other Pult Nor builds. Now, straight Pult generally plays 2 Night Stretcher, but Pult Nor, the norm has been 4 Night Stretcher. We see here Tord only playing the 2 Night Stretcher, and playing the 3 Duskull. The 3 Duskull isn't something we haven't seen before. We've seen 3 Duskull before, but... not to this level of success, I don't think. I think most of the successful builds of Pult Nor have been 2 Duskull, or most successful builds. Mirror disadvantage tracks a bit, seeing that Tord only had Mirror once in the tournament. Yeah, I would say against like other builds of Pult Nor, Tord is probably at the disadvantage. I would want to say he's at the disadvantage. No Monkey Dory. And then, but I don't know, he's got the 2 Brox, 2 Hilda, so maybe it's not. I mean, just like, I guess less energy is also not great for the mirror match, right? Less energy is probably not great for the mirror. Monkey Dory is kind of cool in the mirror. So maybe taking a hit there, but mirror match isn't necessarily Dragapult's biggest problem in the metagame for sure. 3rd and 4th candy doesn't matter because it's jamming slots. True. As far as like consistency goes. The 1st and 2nd does a bit. Yeah. Well, the biggest thing would just be like the lack of the other cards, right? It wouldn't be so much like neutrally dead cards. Yeah. All right, that's towards Pult Nor. Definitely interesting. Definitely innovative. No, I meant for mirror percentage. Okay, sure. Yeah, only 2 dead cards. 3rd place was Kato with straight Pult. And this build is pretty similar to what... I think Kato and Tord played the same 60 at Worlds. This is like pretty similar to what Kato played at Worlds, besides the Dusclops line. So, once again, seeing some innovation here. Dragapult, straight Pult builds, Double Monkey Dory, has the Maractus. I think Kato at Worlds did play the Pseudo Wudo, has the Penny plus Turo. And my understanding of this, I actually just don't know for sure. The Penny is like really good for like Maractus trapping stuff, I believe is one of like the heavy use cases for it. But besides that, board fixing can be a pretty big deal for like Cornerstone. Allows you to go a little bit wider in the early game against Golden Go, but then between Turo and Penny, you can start to pick your board up and end up with like lone Cornerstone to combat their baby Golden Go or whatever answer they have for Cornerstone. You can do stuff like use Monkey Dory, Penny, Monkey Dory, do it again or something like that. And then has the 1/1 Dusclops in here, which I don't know the exact use cases for this, like where you need it the most. The Dusclops, but this is something we've seen before as well. I think Henry Brand is the person that I remember seeing first, like include like just the 1/1 Dusclops in like a straight pulp build. So it's something we've definitely seen before, but it doesn't get played very often. Yeah, I don't know all the use cases for it, but I'm sure it comes up. I mean, it's just cool, kind of good to have, right? If you play Pult Nor, you use Dusclops all the time. Like, just because you're playing straight Pult doesn't mean you want to be able to get value out of Dusclops. You obviously just do it less consistently because you only play one Duskull, one Dusclops compared to Pult Nor that usually plays at least 2 Duskull and at least 2 Dusclops. But it gives you like a wider range of potential options for plays. And then besides that, it's pretty standard. Like I said, the Penny is a standout. Cornerstone is the answer here that Kato is playing. The other card that people usually play, or cards people usually play, is Toad Scroll. So straight Pult is usually playing the Cornerstone or the Toad Scroll. If you want to see how Kato used the Cornerstone specifically up against Golden Go, he was actually on stream against the Golden Go, and the Cornerstone definitely like carried the whole match for him. Clops gives you more agency versus Gardevoir to wipe double Curlier. Curlier, that's the main use. Oh, true. Yeah. I guess like you get access to the wipe World / Curlier line as straight Pult. Clops also breaks Pika in the active, which Halucha can't, and one-shots hands versus Joltik Dango. True. I mean, the Pika things I don't think is relevant because I don't think they're setting up Pika against you, but against Joltik Dango, killing the hands could be pretty cool, I guess. Besides that, 4 Iono, 4 Research, nothing crazy. 2 Brox, 1 Hilda, 3 Boss. Still has the Turo, also the Penny. 4 Buddy Poffin, 4 Ultra Ball. No Nest Ball, but there's still the supporter Pokemon Search, the Brox having the Hilda. And then only 1 Night Stretcher for recovery, but also has the Super Rod, which is interesting to play the Super Rod when you don't have something like Toad Scroll in it. Like, it's just like a lot of recovery, but it feels like the deck doesn't need that heavy recovery very often. Maybe just kind of wants it to go to pair alongside Research. Like, as you're cycling your deck aggressively with Research, you do end up losing some resources, some Pokemon energy resources sometimes through the Research. So maybe just wants the Super Rod to like complement the aggressive discard draw of the Research. And then the energy count's pretty standard here, just like 8 energy. That's what I just said about Tord's build. Tord's playing 6, which is on the low end, but like straight Pult's usually playing 8 to 9. Pult Nor's usually playing like 7. So it's in like anything out of the norm as far as the energy goes. Another cool deck that made cut is the Dragapult Blaziken from Fabian. There's a lot going on in this deck. There's a lot happening. So it's mostly a Dragapult deck, but Blaziken can be a pretty good attacker. And by playing the Blaziken, it enables you to play stuff like the Chi-Yu, which is a big card in the Golden Go matchup. There we go. It enables you to play stuff like the Chi-Yu, which is a really good attacker in Golden Go, obviously. This list specifically plays the LGM. I assume the LGM is like a mirror tech for just moving the energy around in the Pult matchup. And then the Blaziken gives you a form of energy acceleration, which Dragapult specifically likes extra energy in play. No, it's for Guardy. What the LGM is? I feel like I feel like the LGM is like just like cope against Guardy though, right? It's not like it doesn't actually work. Or am I trolling? Moves the Dark off the monkey. Okay, it does that, but I don't think that's winning you any. I don't think that wins you any games of Pokemon. Like, I think you do it, and then your opponent's like, "Oh my gosh!" and they realize, "Oh wait, you used LGM for your turn," and then they knock it out. I tried it. Nah, it's cope. It feels like hella cope as a Monkey Dory fixer. It feels hella cope, or like against Guardy, it feels hella cope. I could see it being effective in the mirror match though. what's Petron doing here? Actually, if you want to see one of the use cases for Petron, you could go watch Fabian play against Rune in top 16, I think. That's where you can see one of the use cases potentially there for the Petron. One of the things you can do with Petron, anyone who isn't familiar with the Petron, which I'm sure someone out there might be, is Petron's attack for a Dark and a Colorless. I mean, it can act as a Maractus in situations, but you can like trap stuff in the active and KO them effectively going into your turn. You can like bring up Fez or Latias or Fan Rotom. So it does 10 damage with the attack, and then the active Pokemon can't retreat. And then its ability says, oh, and it also poisons them. The ability says if it's poisoned, they take 5. So the Petron can like trap a Fan Rotom, and it knocks it out going into your turn. Trapping card and a card that moves energy. Well. Well, there's no way that beats. That's sick. That is a convoluted way to ever beat Gardevoir. Rotom dies. Wait, did Rotom die going into their turn? Am I trolling? It's 10 plus 60 plus 50. Ten place poison plus 50. 6-7. What is it? It's 60 total damage plus 10 damage. 60 total poison plus 10 damage. 10 damage, 10 poison, 50 extra. Oh, wait, it does KO the Fan Ornament. Dude, I thought we could trap Fan Ornament and it would die going into our turn. It is 70 total. We do kill Fan Rotom. I thought we could like trap Fan Rotom. Okay, we're not trapping Fan Rotom. I thought we would be able to like trap like Fan Rotom and stuff and it dies into our turn. It is 70 total. Yeah, what the heck? All right, you can't do that play. I was like hyping up that play. I was like, oh, that's kind of sick. Because I thought we were doing 60 into their turn and then 10 out. Just click up the card. True. 50. Dude, what the fuck? Wait, yeah, it's 50 more. It's not 50 instead. Never mind. I'm wrong. It doesn't activate Fez. It doesn't activate Fez, but that's not as cool as I thought it was. For some reason, I thought it was 6 into their turn, 10 out of their turn. But you can still, it can just function basically as a Maractus against other situations, like bringing up, Fez's, Latias's, stuff like that. Trap them in the active. Go from there. It's a Fezless KO. It is a Fezless KO, true. But if we could just attack with Dragapult instead, it's probably better. It kills me or Latias in 2 turns sometimes. Yeah. We can trap Noctowls. That's the good one. It does trap Noctowls. True. That is fair. We do it for the 80 HP Noctowl. Well, that's not great, though, because they can evolve. So that we'd be a little scared of that, but yeah. Can't trap Latias because of weakness. True. Only 60 into their turn. 10 from attack plus 50 poison. No, it does 50 more poison. So it's 60 from the poison, 10 from the base attack. But yeah, if you want to see one of the use cases for the Gardevoir matchup, you should go watch the match of Fabian against Rune in top 8 or top 16. I forget which one it was, to be honest, at this point. Oh, it was top 4, actually. I think it was top 4. Yeah, because Fabian got 4th. And you get to see one of the use cases for the Petron there. Apparently the LGMs for Gardevoir, although that seems like hella cope. But I think you could probably get more value out of it in the mirror, potentially, if you find it early enough. It does still play a Badoo for early game, but also plays TM Evo. It is an Arven build. Arven Secret Box is the, I don't know, engine or whatever you want to call it, like the setup, the way you set up the deck. 4 Arven, 2 Rare Candy, TM Evo. Only 1 TM Evo, though. And then besides that, pretty standard supporters, like outside of that 4 Iono. 2 Boss, does play a Turo, plays a Palpad as well to get more reach for your supporters. Most of the time, you're probably recovering Turos and Bosses with that. I think it's the only things we saw Fabian recover for like any real value potential was those. Also plays a couple of research. Only 3-Buddy Poffin? Wait, I didn't even realize that. What the heck? Hold up. I guess I don't hate it. You do play 4 Arven. But a lot of people are choosing second right now. Yeah, I guess I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I also don't like it. Buddy Poffin seems way too important for if you go first. But I guess maybe the Team Evo covers that situation a little bit, where it's like if you go first, you're going to turn to Team Evo anyways. Dude, no wonder he didn't have any items in his deck at the end of the game for the secret box. Ultra Balls, counter catchers, of course. Like I mentioned, there is some rare candies in this deck as well. So it plays through Team Evo. You do want to set up Dracloaks like any other Dragapult deck, but then also has rare candies to more aggressively get from your basics into your stage 2s. Seems sus. Definitely seems a little sus. For recovery, Super Odd, Night Stretcher, 1 Vessel for energy, Search does play one Artisan to synergize with the Secret Box. An Air Balloon as well for mobility. That's like specifically one of the problems with Blaziken. Whenever I play the Blaziken card, if you have a Blaziken on your bench with no energy, it always sucks when your opponent just like bosses it up. But obviously, you've got the Air Balloon for that, or Turo. And then for the energy count, it doesn't actually play that many energy, but you do recycle them aggressively with the Blaziken. 2 Fire, 2 Dark, 2 Psychic, and a Luminous. I thought there was 2 Vessel in this list. I'm not going to lie. I thought there was 2 Earthen Vessel in here to help you find your energy more aggressively. So not a super high energy count, only 7. And you only have the Vessel to like aggressively find them out of the deck as well. But this is one of the decks that I'm definitely going to play with today. I'm excited to try out the Chicken Polt and see how it feels. All right. Up next, we had Dominic Fink playing the Joltik box. And I don't know if there was anything crazy in here. Let's take a look. Oh, I saw 0 Arven at first. I only saw Crispin, Boss, Iona. I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy. There's 0 Arven in this list. But no, there's Arven there. 2-1 Galvantula, 2 Miraidon, 2 Iron Hands, Pikachu. Did play the Clefairy. Also has the Genesect in here. Did play the Future Booster Capsule, which you don't see all the time. Did play a Recovery card in the Super Rod as well. Also played the Iono, another card you don't see all the time. But pretty standard, like nothing crazy in the Joltik box here from Fink. 3 Poffin is because I play Secret Box, so I felt like it's the 4th Poffin Joker, and I could use the spot for something else. That is fair. You still have the consistency of playing effectively 4 Poffin. But would you play 5 Buddy Poffin if you could? I feel like the skill from that deck rating off the screen. Drew Stephenson, the only Golden Go in top cut, and the next Golden Go, there was only 2 Golden Goes in top 32. Actually, how far does this go down? Oh my gosh. There was 2 Golden Goes in top 64. That's a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Only 2 Golden Goes in the top 64 here. One of them was Drew in top cut with a pretty cool build. I don't know if Drew was part of the group of players who played this at Worlds, but there was a group of players who played the Secret Box Golden Go build at Worlds, and the power of this build, or like the reason to play this build is the turn 1 Fan Rotom potential. Basically, that's like the big play with this deck is you choose second, and then you Secret Box, and you get. Hopefully you have an energy in hand, I think, at that point. You get your out to Fan Rotom, you get your Stadium, you get your Air Balloon to get the Fan Rotom the active, and you attack turn 1 with Fan Rotom going second to, like, initiate the prize trade aggressively. So that's, like, the big power. That's, like, the only real reason I can see to play this build of Golden Go over any other build. Because besides that, it's just kind of bad. But that is pretty good. Turn 1 attack going second is, like, pretty good. You only Rotom into Zard. Any other matchup, you save the box. Wait, like even in Mirror Match? Like if you go second in Mirror Match and you could turn 1 KO with Gimme Ghoul, you're not KOing that Gimme Ghoul? The Gimme Ghoul is dying, right? We're not leaving him alive. If you don't have to put any other 2 prizer in play. Yeah, into Mirror 2. Okay. What about Pult? Like if they have like a Dreepy and a Duskull or something. I mean, if they find Poffin, maybe. First Polt and Guardia is trolling. Actually, to like not aggressively take the first prize card? Against Polt specifically, I feel like that would definitely be the play. Against Guardia, I could see it. Well, against Guardia, they open Monkey a lot, so you're not going to be able to do it anyways. 100%? That's kind of crazy to me. So you just like chill and just get your Golden Go online and start attacking with Golden Go. Okay, what if you can? I assume if you can keep your Secret Box, but you can attack with the Fan Rotom. You attack with the Fan Rotom, right? Your Secret Box in the deck versus Paul wins you the game because you go Secret Box for Stadium plus your supporter plus plus Superior Energy Retrieval, whatever it's called. No, wait, you never put Rotom down? Oh, because the fact that it's a 1 prior gives them the prize trade on the Revavroom and the Fan Rotom? Well, would that even matter at that point, though? Because you'd be up a prize from where you normally were. So just because they could draw their second prize card faster, does that actually make a difference? Like, that prize offset actually affects you that much? Because you want to avoid them getting the Revavroom plus the Fan Rotom KO for your 2 prizes? Oh, yeah, also, this build doesn't play Monkey Dory, I guess, as well. So, I mean, that's not something you have to worry about. But you have to worry about Revavroom still. I think a 1 Dreepy Fez pass. You can consider it. Consider it? Bro, he's dead, bro. That Dreepy is dead. But even game, you never do it. Oh, even game. I thought you said even if you win. I thought you meant even if you win the game, you never attack with Fan Rotom. Yeah, the power of this build, like I said, it's through the secret box. Gives you that potential for the turn 1 Fan Rotom knockout. Which Thray in chat is saying you don't want to do that against. You don't do it in every matchup. Mirror match, it's good. What do you say? Mirror match is good. Charizard is good, obviously. Gives you a way to initiate with a 1 prizer. Yeah, even if it's a donk, you don't do it. We hate that guy. So that's the power of this build. And like Thray said in chat, like being able to go secret box in the late game against Paul, that does sound pretty good, to be honest. I didn't really think about that hard. Why donk when you can win like a man? True. You at least show them you had game. Like I feel like if you're not going to show them that you had win, like I could beat you here, but I'm letting you play another turn. You better find a basic Pokemon. Yeah, the secret box, I guess, at the end of the game against Paul is pretty cool, right? Because it can find you, Lavencia plus superior energy retrieval, and then any other piece you need to like win the game. So if you can Arven for secret box or whatever, and you just win off that, it's pretty chill. Brevet Room, like I said, Lavencia's. Anything else to mention about this? Did play the picnic basket, so did play the healing card for boss, 2 Turos. Retreat my Genesect to do 350 active or 300 anywhere in the back. Okay, that makes sense. That actually is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I didn't think about it like that, to be honest. I was like saving it for the late game against specifically the Paul matchup. Very chill. There was some Terra boxes in cut here. 3 different Terra boxes. Maze, Alexander, and I forget how to pronounce their name. I learned it yesterday on stream. We'll take a look at Mace's first. Mace did play. I think they're all different actually as well. Mace played the Pidgeot line alongside a 4/4 Noctowl. So the 101 Pidgeot with a red candy. My goodness. What is Mace not playing? Has Ursaluna, has Iron Bundle. 2 boss, no counter catcher, no Briar. Okay, that's one of the big misses here. No Briar in the build. So what do you think about the meta with Mega Evolutions? I'm going to play my first regional after the rotation. I'm very lost. No one was talking about this yet. No idea. Haven't thought about it. We talk about Monterrey yet? Not yet. We're going to Monterrey next. Played the Jamming Tower. And we'll talk about the stadiums here in a second. I actually really like the... I really like the Mesagoza we saw. I forget who played the Mesagoza, but it'll come up here in a second. Yeah, so this build for Mace is interesting. It's got the Pidgeot, no Briar, but it's not the first time I've seen people play no Briar before, so it's not like the first time I've ever seen that. No Air Balloon as well. Yeah, no Air Balloon, no extra mobility. As far as that goes, is there any big attackers that are not being played here? Has the Water Ponds, has Terrapagos, Ursaluna, Clefairy, Teal Mask, Briar's Bait, Pikachu. I think it has all the main attackers, right? No Grass Pond? No, Grass Pond's right here. No Grass Pond would be crazy. The deck doesn't function at that point. How do you KO Guardies with this build? You definitely just don't. I mean, I don't think any build 1 KOs a full HP Guardy, though. That's not like exclusive to... Oh, some people play the Gravity Mountain. That's actually not true. Some people do play Gravity Mountain. That was Mace's build. Alexander here. Oh, yeah, the Iron Leaves. The Iron Leaves was pretty cool. Alexander here. 280 HP Hoot Hoot. 2 tanks. So, yeah, there's no Buddy Poffiting here, of course. Had the Iron Leaves as the extra mobility card, so no Air Balloon in this build as well, but did play the Iron Leaves. And I think we actually saw it come up in Alexander's... I think it was Alexander who we saw use the Iron Leaves. We definitely saw Iron Leaves get used in Terra Box on stream over the weekend for like just being a mobility card. So had that in comparison to the build from Mace. Also had the Brock Scouting and the Mesagoza, which I think is a really cool... I actually don't even know if this is true, in like, I feel like it doesn't come up very often, but like one of the reasons you want to play a non-Area Zero stadium in Terror Box is so like you can like remove liabilities from your own bench. I feel like that almost never actually comes up though. Am I trolling? I feel like every time I play Terror Box, that play never happens. Like I'm never like, oh, now I need to go find my non-Area Zero stadium to bump my own stadium to discard Pokemon off my bench. I feel like that literally never happens. Maybe I'm trolling. But yeah. But I do like the idea of the Mesagoza as that stadium. If you are Happens versus Grim a lot. Okay, I could see that. That makes sense. If you are going to play a counter stadium, I like the idea of the Mesagoza because Jamming Tower doesn't really do anything against Gardevoir and isn't really good against anything else. And Mesagoza gives you like a way to find a Noctowl aggressively through Noctowl, or like just something to put in play to find more Noctowls later, basically. Which is kind of cool. The Mesagoza is kind of cool because like against, you get item locked against Badoo, you can be like, I'll put my Mesagoza in play and I can like have outs to Owls. Now obviously if the Pulp player finds a counter stadium, you lose it, but it gives you like a chance to like find more Owls, stuff like that. So as far as counter stadiums go, the Mesagoza is actually kind of sick. Also plays the Brock Scouting, so it's kind of heavily invested. I feel like this list specifically is like heavily invested into being able to deal with Badoo. Mesagoza, Brock Scouting, really cool. I guess even the Iron Leaves is like an extra mobility card, but I guess like Air Balloon would be better than that as well. Like you'd rather play, like if you're gonna play a mobility card specifically for Pult, you probably play Air Balloon. But the Iron Leaves is really good. I would imagine the reason to play the Iron Leaves is for Charizard and Zoroark, because setting up a Grass Ogerpon setting up a Grass Ogerpon in a single turn out of nowhere is harder than setting up the Iron Leaves, I assume. So I mean, I imagine the main reason of including the Iron Leaves is you want to KO Zard, want to KO Zoroark, want to KO Grimmsnarl easier than the Ogerpon can sometimes. You can do it from like a no grass energy established on an Ogerpon board into like the Iron Leaves more quickly. Now you could set up Ogerpon in a single turn as well, but you would need Grass in hand into Crispin for Grass plus non-Grass into third Grass. You'd have to go like Accelerate Grass with Crispin, Accelerate Grass with Teal Dance, Attach Grass. But with the Iron Leaves, you can just go Accelerate Grass, Crispin for Grass plus other energy, put out the energy and play Iron Leaves into the active. So you do need like a little bit less for sure. Or it's like another route to get there, I guess. I find it seems to be heavy into Crispin, but no Pokegear. I guess there's no room for them. I mean, you just owl for them. It's an owl deck. Like playing Pokegear on an owl deck would be kind of weird because like you should always just play more heavily through your owls. Like having more ways to find owls would be probably better. Like playing a Great Ball would arguably maybe be better than playing what's it called? You can do Crystal too. True, you could put Crystal on the Teal Mask Ogerpon, but I feel like in the matchups where you'd probably always want to be Water Pawning aggressively though. I assume. So you want to be able to save the Crystal for the Teal Mask, I would imagine. All right, that was the second Terra Boxing cut, but there was a third right outside of top 8, 9th place. And once again, a little bit different. Did have the Iron Leaves. Played Judge, which is a card I'm personally a big fan of in Terra Box. I'm a big fan of the Judge. Played the Volcanion. Someone in chat brought up the didn't have a way to. There's no way for the deck to one-hit KO Gardevoir. Volcanion does give you a way to one-hit KO Gardevoir. You can go Volcanion plus Pikachu. Effective 320. Now that's a lot of cards to like get in combination to get everything working, but it is possible. Also played the Ends Plan. Also played the Ends Plan for, it doesn't like play maximum energy switch. There's only 2 energy switch in here, but also had the Ends Planning here as like a potentially more efficient use of your Noctowl to find a way to actually attack on your turn. So the Ends Plan is kind of cool for that. Did not play a counter stadium. We were just talking about counter stadiums. Are they even worth it? It feels like the play doesn't come up that often where you want a counter stadium. Trumpet plus Ends Plan is hype. Oh, that's true. This build does have the Glass Trumpet. I did skim over the Glass Trumpet there. There is a Glass Trumpet in here. So that combination specifically, Trumpet into Ends Plan, is super, super sick. So there is that available alongside the Ends Plan. And honestly, if you don't play Trumpet, you probably don't play Ends Plan now that I'm thinking about it. Now that I see the Trumpet there, I'm like, the Ends Plan by itself seems kind of cool, but the real combo here definitely has to be through the Trumpet, right? So you go Owl, you get your Glass Trumpet, you get your Ends Plan, attack with anything, win the game from there. Also, no Counter Catcher in this build as well. And no Briar. So those are like 2 standout cards here. No Counter Catcher, no Briar. I guess if you play Briar, you probably want Counter Catcher, and if you don't play Briar, you probably don't want Counter Catcher. Like, the value of Counter Catcher has to go down a lot if you're not going to play Briar, for sure. I feel like those cards maybe like are packaged together in Terra Box. You don't really want to play one without the other, or you probably shouldn't. If you're going to play one, you probably should play the other, so on and so forth. Yeah. Rest of the decks in cut. There was a Gardevoir from Consta here. It was the Jelly Guardy, 1/1 Jelly. No Devo. What else? Did play Drifloon, 3 Bravery Charm. Only 2 Monkey Dory, actually. 2 Dark, 2 Monkey Dory. Interesting. Only 3 Research as well. Those are like the big standouts to me. 1/1 Jelly Guardy. 4 Night Stretcher. My goodness. Four Night Stretcher. We were recycling that Frillish. Definitely an interesting build here from Consta as well. And it's so hard for me to like analyze Guardy decks because I just play Gardevoir so little. I play Gardevoir so little, it's hard for me to analyze them too much. Or like to fully understand like value of things. At the end of the day, to me, it's just all interesting. Yeah, only 2/2 Monkey is interesting for sure. Even if you're only going to play 2 Monkey Dory, I feel like playing the 3rd Dark is still pretty high value. To get both monkeys online more consistently. Well, that's not even true. You have to like pick like, the 3rd monkey could matter just as much, right? And then finally, there's some pretty interesting decks in Top Cut. Actually, I want to go back to this build. This build had Counter Catcher and Briar, right? Yeah. Maybe the last one, the most interesting build in Cut here was Richard with Greninja EX. This is one of the decks I'm going to play with today on stream for sure to try it out. He plays more Drifloon, I assume. Probably, yeah. 3 Bravery Charm plus Drifloon and 4 Night Stretcher. You can Drifloon a lot for sure. This is definitely there was definitely a lot of interesting decks in Cut, but this is probably the most interesting deck for sure. This is the coolest deck. Is the Greninja EX Dusknoir Pidgeot build here. And there's definitely some crazy cards here. Yeah, 3/1/2 Greninja, the main attacker in the deck. 2/1/2 Dusknoir. And then a 2/1/2 Pidgeot line for the quick search, of course. Badoo to slow down the game in the early game. 1 Pheasantipity for the draw power, of course. The supported lineup is crazy, though. It definitely seems like a combo. It's not like a comeback deck. It's like a combo deck. Like, I don't know. I'm just going to have to play some games with the deck to get a feel for it. But it's an Arven engine deck. So there's only 3 Arven, though. There's no TM Evo. There's actually only 1 tool in here. There's just 1 air balloon. So the Arven, most of the time, is just finding you an item card. 2 Boss's Orders. There's a Palpad in here as well. 2 Culture's Tenacity. And the A spec in here is actually the Grand Tree, which I feel like makes sense for sure. Yeah, I feel like the Grand Tree makes sense in here to get your big evolutions online. Seems solid. Culture's Tenacity, of course, synergizes with that. Can find the Grand Tree. 2 Hilda, 1 Iono for the rest of the supporters. 4 Buddy Poffin, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Rare Candy. 2 Super Rod, 2 Night Stretcher for the recovery. Sounds like we're going to be using Dusknoir a lot. Counter Catcher, Palpad, switch a Tool Scrapper. Tool Scrapper is interesting to me because the thing's weak to Psychic, right? What is Tool Scrapper good against? Bravery Charms against the Iron Hands, maybe? Wait, don't we 1-hit KO that guy with this guy? Or maybe Tool Scrap the Air Balloon. Oh, there's a Jamming Tower in here as well. Maybe it's just for Air Balloon to trap the things in the active. Close enough. Welcome back. A Palkia Dusknoir. Close enough. 1 Energy Search. There's the Nest Ball. Air Balloon, like I mentioned. And then for the energy count, it's just 4 Water, 3 Ignition Energy. And Ignition Energy is really the card that came out recently that like gives some life to the Greninja EX to be able to actually use Greninja's Mirage Barrage, which for a Water and 2 colorless energy, maybe on Fez, maybe. That could be a thing as well. The Mirage Barrage does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, and you just card 2 energy from the Pokemon. So you can go attach Water, either attack or leave it on the bench for a turn, and then the next turn attach Ignition, Mirage Barrage, and just kind of go from there. So I'm very interested to try this deck out. The build is pretty sick. It's pretty cool. Big fan of Grand Tree. Playing Grand Tree is just kind of fun. So this is probably going to be the first deck that we mess around with today on stream once we go through everything. Only need to discard the Ignition is cool. Yeah, for sure. We're not gonna like spend as long looking at the rest of the decks. We're gonna go down to the top 30 or go down to the 32nd deck here though. So we're just gonna jump into them. Mike Ellis here, usually casting. I think this was his first regional as well, playing in. Ending up 12th place is pretty cool. Can you quickly check Frankfurt Juniors? Dude, you guys are obsessed with the Frankfurt Juniors finals. Yeah, we can take a look at them. Yeah, the Grimmsnarl build, I actually really like Mike's Grimmsnarl build. One of the things I've always hated playing in Grimmsnarl was boss's orders. So I really like the fact that there's no boss's orders in this build of Grimmsnarl. So that's like the number one thing that I like. It's pretty standard as far as the 4 Monkey Dory, 3-2-2 Grimmsnarl has the Ursaluna, has the Iron Bundle. No Shaman is interesting. That seems a little scary, to be honest. Your Bolt matchup becomes way worse with the lack of Shaman. I guess having the Ursaluna can kind of cover that a little bit. Also, Terra Box was fairly popular at this tournament, so having Shaman, I'm sure, would have been pretty useful. It's playing a 2-3 Frostlass line, which is an interesting way to... Frostlass is really good in a couple matchups. It's really good against... Frostlass is really, really good against... I mean, it's good against Dragapult, but that's like one of the matchups it can be like less good against. It's really good against Raging Bolt. It's really good against Golden Go. And playing like a thicker line of Frostlass means you'll be able to keep Frostlass in play more often. But going for the 2-3 line is interesting because the third Frostlass is better in more matchups that the Frostlass specifically isn't ridiculously good in. Like if you go up against... what's it called? Pult. It's like, okay, I got my Snorunt down. Now I can evolve to... Increasing your odds of drawing into your Frostlass is nice. Like if you don't pull off the TM Evo. So the 2-3 Frostlass line is definitely interesting. Increases your odds of getting 2-2 Frostlass set up and prize cards not being as big of a factor for that against like Golden Go, but... No boss, Giga loses to Guardy. Bro, finding the boss at the right time is so hard to begin with anyways, though. They have to play 2 cards. I do agree, though. The Guardy matchup becomes so much harder without boss. I don't know if you just lose, though. I don't know if it's just a lost cause. Well, it's definitely more difficult. But yeah, the 2-3 Frostlass is interesting. Like I said, no Shaman is it feels a little sketchy to me. I like the idea of no boss because the card feels so bad in the deck. And then supported line is pretty standard. 4 Arven, 4 Iono, 4 Research. Recovery is pretty standard. 1 Super Rod, 2 Night Stretcher, 2 Poffin, 1 Nest Ball, 1 Ultra Ball, the 2 Candy. This is playing the E-Switch, which I feel like was a card that was like initially hyped up when the deck came out, but then basically no one was playing for a long time. Mike is playing it here. Just kind of a cool card to be able to get more Monkey Dories online more aggressively. Only playing the 8 Dark. And then I guess like the other big standout here, the Stadium Blend is nothing crazy. 2 Spike Month, 1 Artisan. I think on average most people play a 2-2 split, but a 2-1 split is nothing new. I'll tell you that it's intuition over meta. Oh, not me. You're not talking to me. Who cares about Guardy, bro? Shit to your deck. Bro, that's what I'm saying. The other thing is the 2 TM Devo, which specifically can be a win condition against Golden Go, which is pretty popular deck, pretty big deck. It's specifically very powerful against Pult, though. Being able to just like reset Pult for a turn and then being able to do it again or have the threat of TM Devo later on is like a really big deal. So like on turn 2 or turn 3, you can like just TM Devo their Dracloaks and reset their board. Because most Pult players don't play Rare Candy. Tord's list is kind of the the anomaly there, where Tord plays 4 Rare Candy. There was no Rare Candy for anyone else to put in their Pult decks. So TM Devo, in general, is very powerful against Pult, because you TM Devo their Dracloaks to Treepiece, and now they have no threat of Dragapult next turn, kind of putting him back a single turn. Didn't he essentially board wipe a Pult on stream? He did. We did see that happen, where Mike did do the TM Devo play to completely board wipe them, which is like another reason to play 2 TM Devo, is because you can draw into board states a decent amount of the time where TM Devo is your win condition to just like board wipe your opponent, and you basically draw no prize cards the whole game. But if you prize your TM Devo, you don't have that option. So playing 2 TM Devo means you don't have to draw prize cards to find your TM Devo to have the option of a TM Devo win condition on a board. So playing the 2 TM Devo is also like good for that. There's Benjamin here with the Conkeldurr. I don't think Benjamin is not. There was a Conkeldurr going into day 2. There was a Conkeldurr that was 8-0. This was not that Conkeldurr. This is the other Conkeldurr. And this list is a little bit different. I think the only difference between this list and the other list, or the big difference, is the Pidgeot line. The other list did not play Pidgeot, I believe. But this list here from Benjamin does have the Pidgeot in the Conkeldurr. There was an 8-0 Conk. Yeah, going into phase 2 of Frankfurt, there was an 8-0 Conkeldurr. It's not this Conkeldurr, though, which is maybe the crazier thing to say, is that this Conkeldurr got 13th place, and there was another Conkeldurr that was 8-0 going into phase 2 of the tournament. So that's might be the crazier part here, to be honest. But as far as Conkeldurr decks go, this is like pretty standard. I guess Arven, I feel like I don't typically see a super heavy count of Arven in Conkeldurr. Usually it's just like 4 heal to 4 Colchis Tenacity, but I don't dislike the Arven, I guess. It finds your tool card, of course, but then also in the early game, it's like a better setup supporter to like maybe find like Buddy Poff in turn 1 or something like that. I think the craziest thing is that multiple Conks day 2'd. Yeah, definitely. Conk on the rise? Maybe. Yeah, as far as Conkeldurr goes, though, I don't think it's still competitive. Like, I mean, obviously got top 16 here. And when I say competitive, like, I wouldn't pick this deck to ever, like, win a tournament. But, I mean, hey, you can't really, probably not mad at getting top 16 with a Conkeldurr, that's for sure. Oh, the other Conkeldurr's right here. So it's not too far away. We can take a look at the other Conkeldurr right now. Yeah, this build, no Pidgeot, 4 Chorus, 4 Hilda. Played 3 Pokegear, no Arvens. Has the Perilous Jungle? I don't think the other list had the Perilous Jungle. Only 2 Mochi. The other list had 3 Mochi. 4 to Dunsparce. No Pokemon Recovery. No Sacred Ash. The other list had the Sacred Ash. And I actually wanted to like do a comparison here and take a look at both lists. No Brute on that switch is crazy. They play Jet Energy. They just jet around it. Isn't the Guardian matchup really bad? Yeah, the Guardian matchup's pretty terrible, yeah. This one played no Pokegear. Yeah, I'm like curious about the differences between the lists now, to be honest. Studying the Conk. No Perilous Jungle. Did play the Sacred Ash for recovery. Okay. Up next, there was a Paltnor here from Kai. And nothing. Did play the Maractus. You usually don't see Maractus in Paltnor. Kai was on stream, I want to say at least once, maybe multiple times. But yeah, pretty standard as far as Paltnor goes, except did play the Maractus. The Maractus is usually not played in the Paltnor. David here, highest placing Raging Ball. Okay, the highest placing Raging Ball wasn't that far out here. Or Joel, my bad. Joel with the Raging Ball. And played Koraidon and Slitherwing. I guess that's kind of interesting. I thought there was no Baby Bolt at first. I was going to say that's crazy, but there is a Baby Bolt there. A lot of energy recovery. I feel like it's a little bit high for energy recovery from what we normally see. 2 Retrieval and 2 Night Stretcher. Played the Squawk. Squawk we don't always see. Didn't have the Ursaluna. David here with the Gardevoir. Oh, it was a 1/1 Jelly Guardy as well. In my limited testing, Perilous Jungle did nothing for your damage numbers, and it was annoying because you can't kill Zard or Grim with that stadium. I think I had basically the same conclusion when I played the deck as well. I was like, the Perilous Jungle, I feel like it just never comes up. It's like not a real thing. But yeah. Already Jelly build here. No Bravery Charm, no Drifloon. Did play a TM Devo. This feels like pretty close to like the list that Riley played at Worlds, except there's a Jelly over the Fluttermane, basically. But pretty close to that. Besides that, nothing crazy. Was that David? Christian here with a Paltnor. This honestly... Oh, Rare Candy. I was going to say, this honestly might just be Justin Newdorf's 60. 1 candy over I'm not sure what, but there's a candy in here. Who was that, Christian? Owen played Golden Go. And did have like a couple interesting cards. Was just playing Golden Go Togekiss. This is the second highest placing Golden Go in the tournament. Not too far off from Piper's list. I think the only difference here is that there is a Badoo. I'm not sure like the most powerful use cases for the Badoo, to be honest, but it's not a bad card to ever play. I think it's the only real difference, though. I can't see any. I don't even know what card was cut to include it. Maybe a Pokegear. It was really good versus Pika EX. True. Good versus Pika EX. But it was good for Zard. I don't know. Is it the Zard players? I think it's just fine to sit there until you take a knockout. Like, yeah. Badoo isn't like building. The thing is with like Badoo and Paltnor, you're building up towards like a bigger play. But yeah. Badoo in this deck against Zard, you're just like, Zard's just waiting for you to take the first knockout anyways. He got Tool Scrapper. There is no Tool Scrapper in here. Yeah, you're right. No Tool Scrapper. Has the Badoo. Yeah, someone said Turo, but I don't think it was Turo. I think Piper only played 1 Turo. Jory here with a Bolt. Has the Judge. No Iono. Nothing crazy. Well, actually, the one thing interesting about both these Bolt lists is they're still playing Jamming Tower. No Chi and Pow. I feel like the Chi and Pow I think the plays you could make with the Chi and Power are like really, really cool and like pretty impactful. I thought that would like catch on more. Arnie here with Pult Nor. No Charizard for Arnie at this one. And honestly, this like literally might be the new Dwarf 60. I can't tell though. It's close enough though. Pretty vanilla Pult Nor here. Ricardo here with some straight Pult. Let's see what the list looks like. Maractus playing a Palpad. You don't see that very often. This is just new Dwarf 60. Arnie said on Twitter. Why do you like Judge and Terrabox over say Iono? I feel like the Iono plays at the end of the game as Terrabox almost never win you the game. Like making a comeback through Iono almost is never like a real win condition for Terrabox. Unless it's like in combination with some kind of like Sob play where it's like Iono counter catcher Sob. It's like the only way you ever make like a big comeback. Whereas like turn 2 Judge is like kind of cool against other Owl decks and just to kind of be like aggressively disruptive in matchups where you go like if you go first as Terrabox, you go attach to Water Pond pass and then you go Crystal Energy Judge knockout and you swing with Water Pond. And like that specifically is like really impactful. Whereas the Iono in Terrabox almost never matters. Like you play your Iono and you're like, well, I'm losing the game attack and your opponent's just like, all right, use Fez, knockout, I win. Like it's like they almost just win through your Iono almost every single time basically. Whereas the Judge can actually have impact. But as far as like early game goes, like sometimes the Iono can feel better because you're drawing 6 cards. Like if you open with Judge and Iono and your opening hand going second, obviously like the Iono feels better, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I just like the Judge because it lets you it gives you still like a shuffle draw supporter of a type, but it allows you to like take an aggressive angle more so than anything. Oh, I wasn't done looking at that one. What did I say? They had a Palpad. Okay, nothing crazy, right? Straight Pult, Maractus. No tech for Golden Go is actually kind of crazy. Okay, that's actually worth mentioning, I guess. What? Never mind, they did. 3 Jamming Tower. All right, so they are teched for Golden Go. It's in the form of triple Jamming Tower. No Cornerstone, no Toad Scroll, but triple Jamming Tower. So they didn't completely give up on the matchup. That's good to see. Because like that would be kind of crazy to give up on the Golden Go matchup to that extent. Gage here with the Guardy. Devo. Nothing crazy. There's a boss and a catcher. Played a Devo, but no Fluttermane, but still played the Devo. Only 3 Monkey, 3 Dark. Nothing wild. Some Pult Zard action here. 2 Chiyu? Dude, what the heck? Dude, everyone was through jamming compared to Tord 0. True. Tord took Gage's Rare Candy. Was it Gage or Ricardo? And then Gage or Ricardo took towards Jamming Towers. That's Zard Pult, buddy, not Pult Zard. My bad, Zard Pult. So it is the thicker line of the Charizard. A 3-2-3 Charizard line. 3-3-1 Pult line. With 2 Chiyu. Maybe I'm starting to understand a little bit why Golden Go struggled so much. Golden Go is also unfavored against Terrabox as well, to be honest. So that's like also part of the reasons, or has to be part of the reason for sure, right? Charizard Noctowl. I think I saw someone tweet about this earlier, I think. Oh, maybe it wasn't this list specifically, though. I feel like the list I looked at earlier didn't have Water Pond in it. Maybe I'm incorrect, though. 4 boss as well. What, in the Zard Pult? There's 4 boss in the Zard Pult, yeah. But yeah, Zard, or Terra, what do you call it? Terra Zard box. It's basically Terra box, but with Charizard. It's basically just, actually, it's Terra box. It's still a Water Pond deck, but then it has Charizard as the backup. Like, Charizard is all of your backup attackers in one, basically. So it's like Terra box. It's like still Noctowl, Water Pond, but then Charizard is all of your backup attackers in a single attacker. But that means, of course, you have to play the whole Charizard line. You're playing Rare Candies, heavy fire engine count, stuff like that. Call it Chari Box. All right, Chari Box, sure. We've seen this deck before. I've never been personally like super impressed by it. I don't think there's anything crazy new in this build to other builds I've seen in the past. It seems pretty similar to everything I've seen previously. Sometimes people play Pidgeot in here as well. So Zard instead of Tail Mask. Kind of, yeah. Kind of Zard instead of Tail Mask. No Briar. Yeah, no Briar. Dude, no one's playing Briar in any of these Terra decks. That feels so bad. The card, like, seems very powerful, but then it's just kind of, I don't know, too hard to set up, I guess. Yeah, sometimes you see people play, like, Pidgeot in these decks as well, because you play Rare Candies, Pidgeot's good. Pidgeon Charizard's pretty good combination. Stuff like that. Armor Rouge box here from Thomas. Feels pretty standard as far as Armor Rouge boxes go. Nothing too crazy there. We already took a look at Alex's Conkeldurr. Owen Dalgard played just Poltnor. Looks like the Newdorf 60 to me, or close enough. Nothing crazy. Simone here with another Terra box to see if there's anything different, how different this one is than the other ones. This one plays Counter Catcher, but no Briar. And then doesn't play the Latios, does play the Air Balloon. It's the only one of them playing the 2 Teal Mask Ogerpon. It feels like everyone's moved on from Teal Mask Ogerpon down to... I feel like everyone's moved on to like 1 Teal Mask Ogerpon. So it definitely is like a little bit of a standout that they are playing 2 still. Yeah, push the 5 months there. Nesto. Plays the Brock. Does the Brock. No Counter Stadium. Is committed to no Counter Stadium. Didn't play the Iron Leaves, but has the mobility card of the Air Balloons. 1 Teal Mask seems so inconsistent to me. I mean, you just don't need it that much. Yeah, you just don't need it that often. You just need it, like, sometimes. And, like, the chance that you prize it when you need it is just, like, pretty low. It makes sense to me. Like, if you could play a 5th Nest Ball over a Teal Mask Ogerpon, you would. You can't. So it's like, is the 2nd Teal Mask Ogerpon actually worth the slot at that point? For sure. James Cox here. James just played. It's Poltnor. It's pretty close to the Newdorf 60. Only 3 Night Stretcher. Playing a Jack over one of the Hildas. And 7 Energies. Yeah, nothing crazy. Pretty standard 60, it looks like. No Squawkabilly. James, are you still in chat? What happened to the Squawkabilly? Have we taken a look at the Rahul Caleb testing Group 60? We have not. Low-key was kind of cope. Oh, there's 2 Nest Balls. You have 2 Nest Balls here. I love the Jack in this deck. Jack does feel very, very powerful in the deck. The question is just, is it better than Hilda? But James there had the 1-1 split. Which A-Spec would you play in Pult Dusk instead of Neo Upper Energy? I need to find a replacement because it is around $50 where I live. Probably just Sparkling Crystal. Yeah, I'd probably just go with Sparkling Crystal if that's an option. Yep, we should 12 months there. Chicky Doo. All right, we're just looking at James' list. Axel here. Another Grimshaw build in the top 16. Definitely a little bit more standard to what we're used to seeing. 2-2 Frostlass, 3-2-2, 4, 1 Ursaluna, the 1 Badoo, the 1 Maractus. Shaman Iron Bundle, plays boss, stuff like that. So this is like this is like how... Oh, only 1 Rare Candy. That's interesting. That's not too crazy, though. Definitely... closer to like the standard 60 for sure. What people have mostly been playing. Brando here with the Poltnor. Oh, only 1 Badoo? Oh, it's a TM Evo build. Oh, it's an Arven build. Okay, I was like, what the heck? Interesting. So a little bit more aggressive of a Poltnor build. Poltnor Arven. It's interesting to see. So sorry for asking, but why did Bouffalon Trapos fall off? I was thinking about slowly picking pieces back up to try it out with Mega Kang. I think the deck just was probably never that good. I actually really liked the deck. The deck was fun to play, but I think the deck was probably always just bad. It's like there wasn't like any format or meta shift that made it bad. It's just the deck was always just not that good. Yeah, interesting builds here for sure. The Arven build. So a faster build of Poltnor. With TM Evo, with Rare Candy. Only 1 Rare Candy, only 1 TM Evo. It is interesting. I guess it feels kind of bad to play. It does feel kind of bad to play Sparkling Crystal right now, especially if you're playing Jamming Tower yourself. But I feel like, I don't know. If you're playing Arven, not playing Crystal feels also pretty bad. But I guess I see it. Like Neo Upper Energy is just like so much more consistently powerful. You don't want to have to deal with, I guess, like random tool scrappers as well, right? You want to get like randomly Boof is better when people don't understand how to build Pult or Guardy. That's fair. I think everyone also thought Guardy was bad, Davidson. I think at that point it was definitely one of those points in a format where people thought Guardy was like not a good deck anymore. And that was a terrible matchup for the deck. I don't exactly remember though. Yeah, it feels bad to not play Crystal, but I guess you can't really argue against Neo Upper's power, especially if you're like running your own jamming towers in here just to like mess with the tools of like Genesect and stuff like that, or Golden Go, excuse me. So I guess it makes sense. And then final top 30. We're just going to take a look at the decks in the top 32. Final top 32 deck here is another Terror Box deck from Nicholas. Plays the Iron Leaf. Plays Iron Leaves and Air Balloon. So it's playing 2 extra mobility cards. Has the Trumpet. Plays Trumpet, but no... The Trumpet feels weird in this build. What are you doing? You're getting like an extra... You're getting a faster Ursaluna. It's synergized with Terrapagos. It feels weird to play the Trumpet without Briar or the End's Plan, though. I feel like if you're not playing another card, Trumpet makes Leaves easier. Oh, okay. There is some synergy there, then, I guess. Trumpet for Leaves. Okay, I see that. I see that. Okay, I hate it a little bit less. I was like, man, it feels like there's not that many cards to combo with the Trumpet here. I didn't even think about Trumpet plus Leaves, actually, to be honest. But actually, that is a pretty cool combo as well. Trumpet Energy Switch combo. Yeah, of course, that can always happen. But that always like feels like low value to put into the deck to begin with, because like Teal Mask is like your Energy Switch target most of the time. Like you accelerate with Teal Mask, and you E-switch off the Teal Mask. All right, there's more value to it than I thought, though, for sure. I don't hate it as much. He's also playing no... We talked about this, and I've been like noticing this in the Terror Box files. No Counter Stadium, but he's also playing 3 Area 0, actually. He's also playing 3 Area 0. All right, those are the top 32 decks from Frankfurt. So let's take a look at... Was there a third... Did I just see a third Conkeldurr? I just want to like look at the list, at least. Dusk Balls. No Pidgeot. 3 Conkeldurr? How many? Now I'm actually curious. How many Conkeldurr made day 2? Was it just those 3? Wait, how do I do this? Day 2? There's 4. There's 4 Conkeldurrs in day 2. I mean, at this point, I'm just going to commit to looking at the list, to be honest. Think about Defiance Vest in Pult now. Harder for Clefairy to one-shot. Does it make it harder for Clefairy to one-shot? I'd have to do the math on it. I mean, if you don't play Arven, you have no way to find the card consistently, I feel like. There's like a problem. I don't know, maybe you could... No, but if it's up against Guardian, they can like Monkey Dory damage over still. I don't think it makes a big difference, to be honest. I have to like think about the numbers. Oh, you guys wanted me to look at what? You said specifically the Juniors finals? Yeah, Juniors, the result... I mean, it's a pretty crazy result for sure. Conkeldurr did win it all in Juniors. It is the Pidgeot build. Is this actually the same 60 that the... This is the same 60 as the Masters Division. The highest placing one in the Masters Division, actually. Conkeldurr took it all down, which is in itself a surprise, but it actually beat an Okie Dokie deck in the finals to go like a step further. Dogie getting an appearance here. What was the most popular deck in Juniors as well? Like, there was like no Gardevoir, right? There's like no Gardevoir, which that makes Conkeldurr a way better play. And Okie Dokie, like both of these decks are like not terrible, but they both hate to play against Gardevoir. And if there's no Gardevoir in the Juniors division, you're probably feeling pretty good. We may as well like take a look at Seniors here. Terror Box 1 beating Flareon Box. All right, let's switch over to... Let's take a look at Monterrey now. So first thing, let's take a look at the meta breakdown. Day 1, Pult Normos. Let's see how much different it is. I'm actually... The only thing I'm most curious about is how different this is compared to Frankfurt. So both tournaments, it was 14%. Raging Ball was a little bit more popular in Monterrey. It was 12% in Frankfurt. It's 14% here. Guardia a little bit more popular. It was like 9.7, 11.6. Nothing too crazy. Golden Go here, 11%. Charizard 7. So it is pretty similar to Frankfurt, which is what you'd assume. I guess like, I mean, Pultzard and Grimmstar are a little bit more popular. But yeah, nothing crazy. Enzoric here is actually more popular than Armarouge Box. Armarouge Box was more popular than Enzoric in Frankfurt. And then the most interesting number, of course, is the conversion number. So let's take a look at those. Dragapult had 18, 22 for Golden Go, 20 for Gardevoir, only 16 for Raging Bolts, 19 for Jolta Golden Go, 14 for Charizard, so a little bit better than there. And Terra Box, once again, had a ridiculous conversion rate, even higher than Frankfurt at almost 50%. Unfortunately for the Terra Box players, that they did have to eventually go through Gardevoirs to try and win the tournament, which is not a good matchup for Terra Box. Flare Noctowl also had a pretty good conversion right here, 29%. That's also pretty solid. But it's not as good of a deck as Terrabox right now. And then Crustle, once again, with a pretty high conversion rate. Only 6 Crustals in day 1. Crustle was a lot more popular over at Frankfurt, but it did have a 66, 666 winner. I feel like that's fitting for Crustle there, I'm not going to lie. And, but yeah, even though it had like I mean, this is like a little bit of a, like this, when the number gets this low, it doesn't really matter what the conversion rate is. Because right now here we go down to 100% conversion rate. We're like, oh my gosh, 100% conversion rate. That's insane. Not really. It's just one person playing. Well, it was Iron Thorns. I guess that is kind of interesting for sure. They got 15s. We'll take a look at their list here in a second. All right, that is a little bit more interesting than I thought. Grimstraw once again had a really bad conversion rate, only around 9%. Let's take a look at this top 32 list though. Pong with 100% conversion rate. Wait, was there a Conkeldurr here as well? Hey, hold up. Day 2. Oh, dude. Conks, bro. All right, we're gonna peep the list because we're not gonna go down that far anyways. Oh wait, what the fuck? All right, this list is wild compared to the other ones. What the heck? This is like, I don't even know what to think about this, man. I didn't know what to I thought it would be like super close to the other Conkeldurr list. This is like out. This is a crazy build right here. Cloth Pagos is back. Yeah, the only thing is it's a stage 2 this time around. I guess like the one thing is it's a stage 2. Oh wait, this thing can't even attack with Terrapagos. It literally is just Poison Donk. It literally is Cloth 2.0. It's literally just Poison Donk into Conkeldurr. You can't even attack with the Terrapagos. The Terrapagos is just in here to hang out. All right, definitely an interesting build here for sure. Why not like Pika for the Terra instead? Honestly, that is a decent... yeah, you could just play Pikachu, right, at that point. Terrapagos has 2 retreat costs. You do have Latias, but it still has 2 retreat costs. You do play 3 Jet, so you could theoretically attack with Terrapagos. You do play... just Jet it twice? Yeah, true. Just put 2 Jets on it. Yeah, my bad, chat. You're right. Let's take a look at the top 32 decks. The Guard 460... dude, it's actually just kind of crazy. But I love to see it, bro. Stuff like this is so cool to me. Especially as like a spectator, if I was showing up to these tournaments and this was happening, I'd be like, God damn it, bro. How can I not? How come I can't beat these kids with their Gardevoirs? But on the outside looking, like me just being on the outside watching the tournaments, this kind of stuff is super cool to me because watching like this level of dominance is like sick. It just shows that there's like a higher ceiling to the Pokemon TCG than like is currently discovered. Imagine if like more players were playing or playing the deck at the same rate as like Henry Chow and crew. Like, I don't know, it'd just be cool to see that eventually happen. Because I feel like there definitely is like they are like a step above for sure. I think Henry Chow and crew are like a step above the other elite players in the game. At least a little bit. So if we get more, if more players are on that same level of innovation and consistency, you know, it's just like cool to watch that happen in competition for sure. So I think it's a really cool result. The 60 that Rune used to win Frankfurt, not only won Frankfurt, but then Ahmed here also won with the exact same 60, beating Henry Chow, who is the player who is getting credit for the 60 in the finals. And then it goes further than that. Michael Davidson was also in top 4 with the exact same 60. So 3 players playing the exact same 60 who all like talk together. All were in the top 4. Abon won, Henry second. Rune played the exact same 60, won the tournament over in Europe. Davidson top 4 here. It's just pretty crazy. It's kind of insane. Yeah, so there's not too much to talk about as far as their list go, but then we can mention Carter here playing Terrabox, is playing the Briar and the Countercatcher. And the Iron Leaves. Had the Iron Leaves in... Oh, Iron Leaves and Air Balloon. So it was playing the double mobility card plus Briar Countercatcher. Carter on 3 Guardy. Yeah. Also heavy on the Area 0 and no Stadium bumps. This is what I was talking about. I feel like the Stadium bump play literally just doesn't ever come up. So I kind of like the Area 0 no extra stadium builds the most personally. I'm like, this makes sense to me because like I feel like the bumping your own area 0 is like not. It's like a fake play. It's like a fake thing that happens. -1 lightning or +1 lightning, -1 grass. Yeah. Also only playing 3 grass. I think this is the first terror box we've seen only playing the 3 grass energy, and then not completely cutting the energy, but yeah, opting for the second lightning. So a little bit more. I don't know. What would you say? It's like more depth to the energy pool. To give you like more outs to being able to attack with a Pikachu, increasing the odds of being able to attack a Pikachu, which I guess makes sense probably because what's it called is so popular. Oh, also only 1 E-switch. Interesting. Only 1 E-switch. Keep spreading the no stadium bump propaganda as well, please. My Maractus is licking its lips like a Kremlin right now. I'll do it. I mean, they have Iron Leaves now though, so I don't know. They might have enough outs. So yeah, second lightning here is kind of cool. Gives you higher odds of being able to attack a Pikachu consistently because prize cards will get less involved. Also, Pikachu's a pretty big attacker right now because of Golden Go. Yeah, well, Stadium Bump allows him to use leaves twice. True. I think Carter, Caleb, and Rahul are on the same 60 as well. I'm actually not sure. They might be. Let's take a look at Caleb's. Looks, yeah, 3 grass, 2 lightning. Played Briar, counter catcher, 3 stadium, no stadium bump. Yeah, looks like it, right? If not, yeah, it looks like the same 60. It's not laid out the same, though. Am I trolling? I feel like when I... Yeah, like the iron bundle's up here instead of down here. It's like the iron bundle and the Ditto swapped positions, clicking on one list to the other. I wonder why that is. So same 60, but for some reason on Limitless, they're displayed differently. So that's why I thought there was something changed. But I don't think there is. We had another Gardevoir on top cut. It wasn't just Henry Chow and crew. We also had Brian Kim here in the top 8. Playing a Jellicent build. This looks pretty similar to the Henry Chow build from Worlds. I don't know that exact 60, but the 2-1 Jelly. Pretty similar to that style of builds. The Jelly Guardy. And then a couple Charizard decks here, which I'm actually curious how the pairings went, to be honest. It is the same World 60. Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering how the pairings played out here. Did the Charizard players get a chance to play against the Gardevoirs? Or, oh, I guess one of them did, right? Yeah, there was definitely one of the Charizard players paired into... Oh, yeah, I can just click on the name. Good. Yeah, Henry Chow did beat Frank here. And then a Terra Box did take care of... I have no idea how to pronounce him. Arath? Which, yeah, I mean, I would assume Charizard is favored. Is, like, I'd assume Gardevoir has to be unfavored against Charizard. Not that, like, Frank should beat Henry every single time, but I would assume that is the matchup is unfavorable. No Drifloon or anything like that. And even with Drifloon, you're probably still unfavored. But yeah, let's take a look at these lists here. So, Pult Zard, Thick Pult Line, 442, 212 Zard, the Chi-Yu, the Fez, Cleffa Badoo, and the Monkey Dory. 1T Amiibo. It's pretty standard as far as Pult Zard goes, I feel like. Nothing crazy. Plays a Defiance Band. I'd be interested to know like what situations that's specifically for. So you allow, I guess, does it allow Charizard to KO Iron Hands with a Bravery Charm? It doesn't, right? You still don't get there. It allows Dragon Ball to KO an Iron Hands without a Bravery Charm. This deck just doesn't have a way to KO an Iron Hands with a Bravery Charm, does it? It's kind of scary. I appreciate the 68 months there, Omar. No Pheasant in the deck, or Ridgeband Golden Go for Chi-Yu? I mean, no one's playing Ridgeband in Golden Go. That wouldn't be something you're like teching for right now. Yeah, you wouldn't be teching for that in the current metagame. No Golden Go in either top cut. No, there was one Golden Go at Frankfurt. That's another thing I guess worth noting here for sure, though, is there's no Golden Go in the top cut here, though. And actually, the highest place in Golden Go is all the way down there at 26th. And then, yeah, final list to take a look at here. Frank's Charizard Pidgeot deck. Played a Tatsugiri. It is a Pult build. 2-1-1 Pult. Briar, Counter Catcher, Maximum Belt. 2 Jack. I mean, the big standout here for me is definitely the Tatsugiri. It's nothing like crazy. And nothing like crazy innovative here. It feels like to give yourself a better chance against Pult. I mean, you got the Maximum Belt, but then you're kind of like praying from there. Grimshaw's not even in sight, right? No, it's not that far down. There's one right there. So that's all the top cut. Let's go through the rest of the cut decks here, though. Take a look at if there's anyone else playing anything crazy. Gardevoir here from Vincent. Played a Shaman and a TM Devo. In the Fluttermane. So Shaman, Fluttermane, TM Devo are the big standouts there. Also the Energy Switch. Energy Switch, but only 3 Monkey Dory, 3 Dark. But I guess it still gives you like access to like a more aggressive Monkey Dory play. Or I guess the Energy Switch can be used as like a way that your opponent, to stop your opponent from like trapping your energy with some weird like, you know, Boss of Guardy, you have no energy in play. You can go Arvin for E-Switch, but nothing crazy. Poltnor here from Jose. Looks like the new Dwarf 60 or close enough. Straight Pult here. From Eder. Did play the Toadscruel, a 2-1 Toadscruel line. And that's it. E-Switch makes Arvin stronger late game. A little bit, yeah. E-Switch so you can hit with Clefairy with no Guardy. That's only assuming that you weren't building up the Clefairy. I guess it allows you to bench Clefairy out of nowhere and then like attach retreat E-Switch over, right? Rahul, I believe, did play the same 60 as Rogerson there, so we already talked about that. Here's Frank. I don't know what Frank was playing. Played the Gravity Mountain. 2 E-Switch. A Fire. Oh, there's a Eevee line in here. There's a Leafeon and a Flareon in here. What the heck? Okay. Frank played this at Worlds, right? Or something close to it. Like him and Shemansky played. They didn't have the Flareon in there though, right? They just had a Leafeon. The Flareon's interesting. I mean, it's pretty good against Golden Go for sure, right? Interesting build for sure. Was that Worlds was different? Yeah. I know they had like the Leafeon. They had like the 1-1 Leafeon in there at Worlds, which was already like an interesting inclusion to begin with. But now getting the Flareon involved as well. Yurko with Raging Bolt, double Baby Bolts. Oh, is this Turbo? Wait, no, it's not Turbo. 4 Hoot Hoot, Lavencia, 3 Area 0, Glass Trumpet. So Trumpet is just like an aggressive way to get more energy into play. And then yeah, Baby Raging Bolts. So nothing to combo with the Glass Trumpet. No E-Switch. 4 Crispin. Dude, what the heck? This build feels like a halfway build between Turbo and like non-Turbo. Only 2 Nitrogens for recovery, but you have the Trumpet to accelerate more energy into play. I don't hate the Lavencia for like, as your counter stadium, it gives you energy in the late game. 2 Baby Bolt, just set it up turn 2. Of course, that's what you want to do. I don't hate the idea of 2 Baby Bolt. It does feel kind of unnecessary because if you prize it, you have Fez. But having a second Baby Bolt in the deck literally just increases your odds of having another Baby Bolt. So 4 Crispin that's a lot of Crispin. It's interesting. Here's the Iron Thorns we saw earlier. Yeah, I don't know about Iron Thorns. Dude, the energy lineup in here is so funny. 6 lightning, 2 fire, 2 grass, 1 dark. Because you play 4 Crispin. I guess that's your form of energy acceleration now. But you need to play some other energy. So it's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Doesn't really matter what you put in here. You just need to put something in there. Is it really not? Oh, it has Turbo Energize as well. Yeah. 4 Crispin, Turbo Energize. Could you not play more heavily through Turbo Energize? Bro, I sat next to G-Sen on our list versus Guy round 13. It was miserable. Oh yeah, Guardy can't beat this, right? You don't really have a real win condition. You just lose. The Iron Thorns. Why Watchtower? Yeah, I mean, it's just to be as disruptive as possible, right? You gotta Flutter if they play it. Yeah, you need like a Flutter or a Klefki to have an out. You just play every type of energy to maximize your odds that Crispin works. I mean, you probably want a slightly higher lightning count for sure. What's up with these energies? You just need to play something that's not lightning for Crispin. There's 4 Crispin in this list. Does it just lose to Pult? The Pult matchup is bad. I mean, you have Giovanni's Charisma in there. You have 4 Crushing Hammers. You'll stop getting Badooed eventually. One of your main win conditions against Pult is the TM Devo, but they only play the 1 TM Devo. Usually lists play like 2, so you can go like punch Pult, they punch, you try and go like Penny TM Devo or something like that, and like repeat. Also, yeah, aggressively gussing Lokes is good as well. Yeah. Sure, there should be an enhanced hammer. Honestly, there probably should be. There probably should be an E-hammer for the Pulp matchup, yeah. That seems... Or 2, right? That seems like a big deal. Marcos Fuentes here. Playing the Gardevoir. It's also playing that Shaman Fluttermane TM Devo. Shaman Fluttermane TM Devo has the E-switch. Interesting. Does Shaman actually matter that much for the Guardian Mirror? I feel like it doesn't. I feel like it's probably... You'd rather have it than not. But it's like... Guardy would have to be played at a way higher rate to ever warrant including it for that situation. Shaman has other use cases. Like Marco maybe made a prediction on like Terrabox, but also you're already favored against Terrabox as well, though. Yeah, like I wouldn't play Shaman just for mirror, but like I mean, it's good against Baby Bolt, but you're favored against Raging Bolt. It's good against Terrabox, but you're favored against Terrabox. I guess like I mean maybe all the little percentages add up enough to the point like it's technically good in mirror, it's technically good against Raging Ball, it's technically good against Terrabox, but it feels like so win more for sure. Yeah, it feels very, very win more when you're already favored into those matchups. But I guess at a certain point, even if it's once the percentages get higher enough, I guess it makes sense, to be honest. Yeah, once the percentages get higher, I guess maybe it makes sense. Even if it does feel win more, if you're winning more enough, then who cares? If the Terrabox play rates go down, Shaman will come out of decks and Terrabox is good again. Basically, yeah. I mean, that's like how it's like. I don't even know if anyone's going to add Shaman to their decks for Pittsburgh. I don't even know if it's going to happen. We'll see. Because Terrabox isn't that good of a... Terrabox, if no one plays Shaman, Terrabox is still just a fine deck. Terrabox isn't like some crazy tier S play for a tournament if no one plays Shaman. Because basically no one was already playing Shaman to begin with. There was just like the odd Shaman here or there. Besides Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl was like the only deck that was constantly playing Shaman. Pulse basically never plays Shaman. We've seen a couple Guardies now that have the Shaman. Yeah, we've seen a couple. Is this actually the same 60 that Marco was playing? This looks like the exact same 60. So like, even if no one adds Shaman for Pittsburgh, Terrabox is still like a fine deck. It's like not like anything crazy, like I said. And then if people add Shaman for moving forward, then it just becomes like a bad play. But I don't even know if anyone will add Shaman, to be honest. We'll see. Zoroark here. As the Cornerstone has Maractus. This looks like a mix. This build actually just looks like a mix of both of the lists at Top 8 Worlds of Marcos and Mateus. Because it has the Maractus, which is similar to Cornerstone. Or Water Pawn, excuse me. But then it has the Cornerstone. But then also has Janine over the ends PP up. So another take on Zoroark here. And they did end up, what, 17th? Yeah, 17th with the Zoroark. No Toad. Yeah, no Toad had the Cornerstone instead. Crucio here with the Guardy. I think this is just the Jelly 60 that Keon and Henry and Bradner played at Worlds. If not, it's super, super close. Highest placing Grimmsnarl here. Let's see if there's anything crazy. Okay, that is interesting. The Toad Scroll in the Grimmsnarl. Honestly, has it come this far? Is this the only way for Grim to compete with Cold and Go? Maybe. I actually don't hate it. Is with the Toad Scroll beating here as well, is favoring double Super Art over Nitroture, so you can go like Arvin for Team Evo Super Art, the Toad Scroll back to the deck, and then immediately Evo it back into play against Golden Go. So that's kind of a cool combo to be playing. Heavy on the Nest Balls, only one Buddy Poffin. Is playing the Fez, which you don't see all the time, but it's definitely not like a crazy new inclusion. Also has the E-Switch in here as well. Has like honestly, there's like a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of tech card. Only one Rare Candy, of course. You have to cut something to fit Maractus, 1/1 Toad Scroll. You do have to cut a lot. Only 3 Monkey Dories, another standout there, I guess. No Artisan. I guess that's why they're playing the heavy Nest Ball count. So heavy Nest Ball count, no Artisan. Code inclusion is cooking, another thing to move damage counters from too. Well, I don't know if that's that big of a deal. That's usually not a huge concern, is building up damage in play. Getting enough Monkey Dories in play is usually the bigger concern. How many of those black Pokemon shirts, like what you're wearing, do you have? A lot. Yeah, interesting take on Grim for sure. Interesting solution for the Golden Go matchup in the Toad Scroll. I don't hate it, I guess. No Shaman as well, so you're getting sniped against the Terra Boxes and the Raging Bolts. Celtic box here. Played a penny. You don't see the penny very often. Only 3 boss and 3 Arvin. 2 Mew though. I like the 2 Mew. I'm a big 2 Mew enjoyer. Favoring the Crispin. I guess playing the heavy Crispin count could probably make sense with how popular Toad Scroll is. Yeah, I guess honestly playing the heavy Crispin count probably makes the most sense, or makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense to play more Crispin than bosses or Arvins, but I don't hate 4 Crispin, I guess I would say. Yeah. Got a couple of Raging Bolts here. Let's go through them, see if there's anything interesting. I think there's not going to be a more interesting Raging Bolt list than Yurko's, though. I doubt we're going to see anything crazy like that. Yurko's build is definitely going to be the most unique build, I think. There's the Chien. Dude, I thought the Chien Pao would have caught on way more. There's like no one playing the Chien Pao. I like the Chien Pao, but I don't play that much Raging Ball, so maybe I'm wrong. Altnor again with the Maractus, but besides that, basically the Newdorf 60. Or is that one? Up next, got a Flareon box here. Playing the Water Pawn. Yeah, Flareon box with Water Pawn. Nothing crazy besides that. Is this the highest placing Golden Go deck? Highest placing Golden Go deck here from David. There's one more in top 32. So let's take a look at both Golden Go decks here real fast. Looks like this might just be Piper 60 from Worlds. I don't see anything crazy different. I think Piper played 3 Air Balloon actually, so there's like one card different in here somewhere. Oh, plays a Switch over the extra Air Balloon. Interesting. I guess I don't hate that, honestly, to have like an extra out against like Maractus and Sob and stuff like that. And the other Golden Go deck, once again, just Golden Go Togekiss is playing the Picnic Basket, Tool Scrapper. Yeah, nothing crazy here. And the decks in between. Another Grimmsnarl, pretty standard build. Is playing an Enhanced Hammer. I guess I don't hate it. Arvin for Enhanced Hammer plus TM Devo. Enhanced Hammer off their TM Devo one of the Dragapults, and then Enhanced Hammer the energy off the other one. I just feel like there's more neutral cards you can play in Grimmsnarl that increase your Dragapult win rate, but are good against other matchups. Is Enhanced Hammer good against anything besides Dragapult right now? Does anything play Special Energy that would actually matter? I don't think so, right? Ho-Oh, Armrouge, sure. Mist and Charizard, Pidgeot. Okay, sure. Don't disrespect Hydreigon. We're gonna stay disrespecting the Hydreigon. Okay, another Raging Bolt here. Oh, this is the exact same 60 as Yurko here. Or I think so. The cards got shifted around, so I can't tell for sure, but it's pretty close. You don't often see 4 Crispin in a Raging Bolt deck. Andrew Hedrick here still getting top 32 with Paltnor. And yeah, pretty standard build. Nothing crazy, right? Yeah. Actually, this might be... Is this the exact same 60 that James played over in Frankfurt? It looks like it. It's close enough anyways. Has the Jack over the double Hilda. Oh, has a Turo. I think James was playing 2 Nest Ball instead of the Turo. That's like the only difference there then. Yeah, 2 Nest Ball, no Turo. Is playing the Turo here from Hedrick. One final Paltnor here. Is playing the... Dude, a lot of people put the Maractus in the Paltnor. There's a lot of that. It's not like a shock to me, I guess, but it's interesting. I mean, it's still good in the deck. Like, Maractus is just kind of a good card. As long as you play Counter Catcher. I think maybe that's the one requirement. If you're going to play Maractus, you probably need to be playing like a decently high count of Counter Catcher. Otherwise, it's like too hard to use. And you play like a heavy Nitrous count, so you can like repeatedly use Maractus after Maractus after Maractus, of course. I did play a Candy. Has Brox alongside the Hildas. And all right, final list. Look here, this final Gardevoir here, and that's all top 32. What? The Dunsparce, bro? Get that out of here, bro. Did Makani change his name? Because I know Makani's a huge fan of Gardevoir to Dunsparce. Dude, not the Dungardy, bro. Haters gonna hate Dunslaps. Dunslaps nothing, bro. All right, that's it. Done, Guardy. It is a Drifloon build. Drifloon plus some Bravely Charms. Did play a boss. Honestly, as far as playing boss in Guardy builds go, boss with the Dunsparce build makes the most sense, right? It does make the most sense. You're going to see the most cards to be able to actually even find the boss to play it. So, as far as Guardy builds that should be playing boss, I feel like this is the one. All right, that's it. That's the top 32 for Monterrey. So we took a look at Monterrey. We took a look at Frankfurt. Now let's play some Pokemon.